our buddy LBC Trojan. Rick says Lincoln Riley's change in culture has manifested itself on the field in linebacker Eric Gentry, who led the team with 5 tackles against Fresno State. A new standard is being set on the defensive side. I like the progress made on the defense in the first 3 games.
Eric Gentry's been outstanding. He's getting his long arms. He has a long reach. He's getting into passing lanes. He's making deflections. One of them created one of those red zone stops against Fresno State. And he's also, one of USC's best tacklers already. And he's making an impact with the pass rush as well. I mean, you're seeing Eric Gentry not just play well, but he's affecting different aspects of USC's defense. He's making contributions in many different ways. That's really the big story so far with Eric Gentry, and that's going to be needed against Oregon State because Jonathan Smith, deploys his resources, his personnel in ways that you have to have a lot of different responsibilities. You have to make your presence felt in a number of different ways in terms of, run support versus pass coverage. So Eric Gentry, he certainly becomes a central nerve center for this game against Oregon State.
Yeah, so we've got USC coming off that game, and you painted a bit of a different picture than I thought in just watching the game out of the corner of my eye while I was on doing a call-in show and wasn't able to lock in and really watch it. Run game in support of Caleb Williams. You had Austin Jones at over 9 yards per carry. Same with Travis Dye. They both went over 100 yards. So they threw it 37, ran it 38 against Fresno State.
Yeah, I liked what the run game did. And of course, I think that the thing that Lincoln Riley and his staff need to really monitor is, what level of performance are they ready to expect from Cortland Ford and Bobby Haskins, who are going to play but how effective are they going to be? And so rather than starting the game by going to the right side of the offensive line, I think you actually need, if you're USC, not Oregon State, if you're USC, you need to test early how Ford and Haskins are holding up in some way. Maybe that's just, having Caleb Williams drop back and throw and seeing what the pass protection looks like from his backside, or maybe taking a few running plays to the left side of the line. Maybe you give Ford and Haskins a chance to just fire off the ball instead of retreating in pass protection. But I think if you're USC, you have to know what you're getting from the left tackle spot early in this game so that you can adjust your game plan earlier as needed. And let's just put forth as a hypothetical. Let's say Ford and Haskins are not great on the first drive or two of the game. Lincoln Riley needs to have a plan in place. Like he might have his primary game plan installed, but he needs to have a very definite plan B for, all right, Caleb Williams, if you're going to get backside pressure, if we can't route our plays too much to the left side of the field, going through the left side of the offensive line, what's our counter? And that could be the screen game. It could be a quick hitch game. It could be a power run game going to the right side of the offensive line, that doesn't put as many responsibilities on the left side of the line. But I think if you're USC and you're Lincoln Riley, you have to know what you're going to get. You have to know what you can reasonably expect early in this game. And of course, the flip side of this is from an Oregon State standpoint, and we can have Connor weighing in here too, is what kind of presence does Oregon State have on the edge to go against Haskins and Ford? Fresno State got some real production from its left side defensive end going up against USC's left tackle, especially when Mason Murphy came in, but also, an injured Haskins also was overpowered at times. So if you're Oregon State, does Oregon State have the dynamic edge presence, to make this a real issue, to make this a real conversation? That's obviously the other thing. So maybe Ford and Haskins aren't going to be at full strength, but if Oregon State can't get a significant edge rush presence in that one-on-one matchup, well, then it doesn't matter if Ford and Haskins aren't at full strength. They can still contain their matchup. And if they can contain their matchup, well, then Lincoln Riley has his full playbook and he can go with his plan A. But if not, like if Oregon State can really make a dent in USC in that matchup, then Lincoln Riley needs to have his plan B. And it's going to be interesting to see if we get to that, what Lincoln Riley's counter is going to be against Oregon State's pass rush.
Yeah, Andrew Chatfield, Joe Golden, two of Oregon State's better defenders, but have not been around early in the season. As Connor knows here, being back will be huge. They need to get into the backfield. Also, from the offensive side, he had mentioned the wide receiver trio because maybe we're underselling Oregon State in the passing game. And as you noted earlier, Matt, not as run heavy this year, 118 runs, 80 pass attempts. So 60-40 is certainly more balanced than what we saw out of Oregon State last year on the offensive side. And yeah, our guy Connor had noted some of their better wide receiver play here with, I'll pop up the stats. We've got guys like Trayshawn Harrison, 16 catches, 14 yards per reception. Anthony Gould, there's the issue with Luke Musgrave, so he's out. Tyjon Lindsey's a target as well as those are the main guys. Anthony Gould there with 8 catches, 24 yards per reception as well.